In life, I try my best to do what I can, to do what I can um, to help people, if you understand what I mean. And I want you to listen to me real good. All right. First of all, number one, I cannot take any credit for the information, the amount of information, and the wisdom that I give to you. Um, I have, I believe in the Most High, and I submit myself to Him. And if you are able to hear, and if you're able to listen to what I'm saying, He gets all the credit for it because, after all, He is the one who gives us breath, life, strength, and vitality to continue on, and the intestinal fortitude to strive against wind and tide, especially when you know wind and tide is against you. Because the way I was raised, I had not a clue that things were as bad as they are now. And I tell you, it took some separation, it took some stepping back, and it took some serious evaluation. And I had to really truly look. I mean, really truly look to see how things really are, because I know how things are presented to us. Believe you me, I know how they are. And I know what the powers that be are doing, but it's taken me quite some time to do that. I mean, a lot of times we practice being skeptical of people and stuff, but the one person that we have never ever watched out for or looked out for is the greatest deceiver in the world. And I know many of you think I'm going to say Satan. No. The greatest deceiver in the world is you. You. Because it's the things that you do not know or refuse to know that destroys you. And I come to that conclusion some time ago. And I figured out that I was an ignorant man, and I got sick and tired of being ignorant. Because, we got people that's painting a picture a certain way for us to believe in. You have to understand, the indoctrination that they have done with us in this country is amazing. I mean, you literally have to almost stand up and give the international bankers and the movers and shakers of the powers that be, you almost have to give them a hand clap for the amount of deception that they have actually pulled over our eyes. I mean, you look at the federal so-called education curriculum. I don't care where it is, at every level, be it elementary, middle school, high school. You go into the college, and then you go off into even in greater levels of education. They have got their foot in at every single hand. And you have to understand, they don't mind after you climb the so-called ladder and keep continually giving you money, because the money that you get pales in comparison to what they're making off of your backs. And I talked at length some time ago about protests. A lot of people say, well, we're going to protest, we're going to go down and protest. And of course, you believe protest is when you go down and hold up a sign. And you have your opinions on that sign. And you're walking. You're missing out on a day of work. You're missing out on more money from your wallet because of travel time. And I mean, and they know that you're not going to stay there forever. I mean, for instance, look at the Occupy Wall Street effort. And while we're here, we need to revisit that just for a second. Your country showed you what they think about protest. They call it dissent. They're going to stamp out all residue. I saw women being maced, rounded up like herds of cattle. I saw the police very abusive. Now, the only places that I did not see the police very abusive is in places like in Arizona, where everybody else can carry AR-15, M4s, AK-47s, Glocks, 9 millimeters, 1911s, just like the police can. And I saw peaceful protests there. Not like we saw in these places where you, the people, cannot possess guns. But we saw all across this world governments rise up. And I keep trying to tell you people that this thing is a global agenda. They're going to stamp out all residue and all resistance, and they prove to you that that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're not going to make any apologies for it whatsoever at all. We're watching on an unprecedented scale. Well, cops literally could carte blanche. They got diplomatic immunity here in this country. They can do whatever the hell they want. They can perpetuate any type of injustice that they want. They can pull you over on the side of a traffic stop, put their hand down your wife's or your girlfriend's skirt or pants. And I'm telling you, but I'm going to tell you right now, one day a cop is going to pull over the wrong person. And they're going to find out that the government that they work for was not able to be there to back them up while they perpetuate their injustice, because there's a lot of people that simply just not going to put up with no stuff like that. And of course, they use the fear of jail. You know, the fear of jail about every day. Fear of jail, fear of jail, fear of jail, fear of going to jail and stuff. But I tell you what, if you can't live free, what's the purpose of living free? What's the purpose of living at all? And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that will not tolerate that type of intrusion. I promise you. Oh, they'll comply to a certain level, but when you start crossing the line, that mess is over with. That mess is over with. My personal philosophy is I've lived a little while, and I'm content with the life that I've lived. And I just hope and pray that the day never comes that I ever have to get challenged against my conscience, against my morals, and my values. What I know is right. I hope they're never compromised. I truly, truly do. And I'll leave it at that. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Protest. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to tell you the proper way to protest rather than you wasting money, feeding the system by spending money on transportation, spending money buying up their high dollar gas, wasting your time, money, and effort. I'm going to show you the proper way to protest. And it's not going down there doing it the traditional way with signs in your hand. The way you properly protest is you take all your money out of the banking system. Now, if you got money in there, only leave enough in there that you're willing to lose. Because it's all digital anyway. You notice there's nothing physical you can put your hands on. And you start, instead of spending all that money on transportation, plane, bus, car, fuel, and all this other stuff, go and buy you some real assets, gold and silver, so you can protest against this false money paradigm, this false money system. Buy you a whole bunch of food. And see, all that money you spent on going to all these different places, these government places. Why are you going? First of all, you got to ask yourself, why do you go to the government to protest all these injustices when the government by itself, by nature, is evil? Why go to an evil entity looking for justice when you know that they're unjust? It just don't make sense. It is so nonsensical. It just don't make sense. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong. Anybody. If my thinking and the way I process thought is so bad and so wrong, I need somebody to convince me, because now you got to earnestly contend, because I really truly want to see the right perspective. I really truly want to see the right viewpoint. I really truly do. But I'm not for this crap where they try to always get us all into this collectivism and proud to be an American and all this other junk, when they tell you need to come together as one for the country and stuff, when they practice dissent. The rich rule over the poor, and they're doing it good too. You need to start concentrating on individual effort, mutual assistance group, people who you can trust. And before you can trust anybody, they have to be tested, proven, and tried. And the one person that cannot be trusted more than anything is that person that you look at in the mirror every single morning. That person will deceive you because of the indoctrination that is already in here, that has never been tested, has never been proved, and has never been tried. You don't know who you really truly are. No, you don't. No, you do not know who you are. I got a good way to protest. You want to hear it? 10 million people this month, the rest of this month of October, go out and buy 1 ounce of silver. And then in the month of November, everybody buy 2 ounces of silver. When you go to the store, buy before this month is up. Let's start small, little baby steps, so that way you can see what you've done over a period of time. Go buy you 5 large canned goods to store. And then next month, discipline yourself. Make it 10. Don't go by Starbucks and spend $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 on a piece of coffee. or a cup of coffee or something like that. Don't do that. Curb your lust and your appetite and discipline yourself. You see, this is how you desist, because as long as you're not feeding the system. See, when you go do your little protest and you in Washington, we protesting. We gonna show them. We here. You fool. You're a fool. And they're looking at you as fool. They're looking out the windows. And they go, well, they won't be here too much longer. They'll be back in peace again tomorrow. That's their perspective. Go out and buy you a bunch of bullets. And they're getting scarce. You got to get them online. Even up in this little country town, you can't get bullets from nowhere and stuff. We got to order them online and get them shipped in. Learn how to protect yourself, because your country, a long, long time ago, has forsaken you. They don't care one bit about you. Government cannot produce anything. They only take. That's all they do. That's why all their answers is tax, 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 tax. And mind you, they went to the greatest schools allegedly supposed to be in mankind. Harvard, Yale, Duke, Vanderbilt. And these boogers can't balance a checkbook. You see, the real true philosophy is this. And I'm just a country man. Real true philosophy is this. Is if you cut the taxes, because the American people are being taxed over 40% of their income. Well over 40. If you cut the tax down to like 5%, we don't mind paying tax, but if you cut it down to 5%, you put more money into the system. And then in that, it will create more jobs. Are you following me? That's what it would do. Because the money is going into the system. But when you take money from the system, like the government does through taxes and stuff, you put it in the government hand, they go give our money out to countries like Israel. They go give it out to over 50 million people in food stamps. They go give it out to other third world countries, and they're so interested in stuff, but they don't want to take care of the people here at home. And then when the people here at home are in need, and people, doctors, lawyers, janitors, nurses, technicians, retailers, when they're all kicked out on the street there and they're forced to live in tents because their home has been foreclosed on because the good old benevolent bank called you a freeloader and a deadbeat and stuff. Then they bring out fire hoses and they wash down your tent. They force it down, and then the people live in trees, and then the government comes out with the people who paid by the government. And you people getting to see this? And they take a chainsaw and chop the tree down in order to get you down. Or either they're just going to start shooting you. They're going to start shooting you dead. Wow. Real protest is when you start putting assets, food, ammunition, and real money to where you can personally reach it yourself. I keep trying to tell you that quarter acre of land is starting to look real, real good, and a little simple trailer is starting to look real, real good. At least one thing is yours. And you know what? You wouldn't have to worry about being a refugee, because if you had a quarter acre of land, not only could you have your trailer dead center of it, but anybody else that needed a place to stay. You could actually have a little small tent city right there and have all these people around you. You could have a tight perimeter, a tight 360 built up around you. But even at that, you need to know them who are there, because I'm sorry, but it's getting increasingly difficult to find quality people to trust in the generation that we're living in. And that's just the truth. Really, people they're too volatile. They're driven by too many feelings and emotions rather than facts and truth. But I'm telling you what, real protest, instead of wasting your money getting on buses and all that other junk and stuff, all that money, $600, $700, $800, $900 or $1,000 round trip plane ticket and stuff, you go spend that on assets that you can store in your individual place and protect it by your armed resistance, your arms, the stuff you can. I don't have it in my office right now. At least I don't think I do. But that's what you do. You protect it yourself. That is the best form of protest. I hope that somebody has learned something, or I said something that's been able to stimulate thought. I hope so. Because I know that your pastors, your churches, your Christian churches, and all the rest of these so-called Hebrews and Israelites and all this stuff, They ain't gonna tell you to get out of the city when they're sitting up there stuck smack dab in the city. They are going to depend on the system. Oh, the Most High gonna make a way. Well, you know what? He makes a way for those who have trusted in him to do the principles of the word that tells you what to do. And these people are living on a false sense of hope and a false sense of security. And by the way, I had somebody try to take me on the chin. You mean tell me, Pastor Dow, you wouldn't give them the shirt off your back? No, because that ain't what the word says. It says if the man don't have a cloak, you go and you give him one. If you got two, you give one. That don't mean you take the one off your back. Oh boy. I don't know where these principles come from that people thinking of that. I know it comes from the indoctrination. It comes from being raised a Gentile American. And that's the truth. And that's the truth straight way. Go back and listen to this video again so you'll know what real protest is.